gotta keep from
Gentlemen's Heretics.
Well, apparently I've missed a lot that you guys were saying when it comes to
that I feel like has been having also very high highs and low lows. To be in an agent like Cypher, hope that brings him the comfort. And also speaking about comfort, I want to see a Vipo that even, I know that it has not been easy for him.
Well, you do see that Vito again in play, Tom. I know you're not a huge fan of what we've seen so far, but perhaps mates are here to surprise and amaze you. Nice stun setup and quick play by Vipo, caught by the stun. Unfortunately, he's going to have to belay that push, and that gives an opportunity for Harris to fire back.
Nice boo as well. Had a fantastic week last week with the spike down in such an awkward spot. The players on Heretics really don't need to move, and even though it will be a bit of damage, it's only going to be the trades. Benji with a double, Heretics on the board.
Swinging for the hills right off rip. He managed to get a second lease of life when put under so much pressure. The dominoes start to fall from there with the Neon. Just seems to give you a lot more stock to play with.
He got two
farming on top of the rope. Oh my goodness. The triple right away, and it had nothing to do with the Neon. That's unlucky that mates decide to take that battle. Benji Fishy is pushed all the way through, and he's got a battle brewing. Shots landed onto Marteen off screen, leaves him on 10 HP. They don't expect him to have 3 buddies. They're going back into main. Mates want to take that control, but instead they take a fight that turns to a massacre. 2 alive, Marteen still on 10 HP, and they know exactly where Beepo is. The pressure on the defuse could already be through.
Starzo doesn't have a weapon to play with in the next round, and him trying to fight versus 5 where Marteen is sat on the other side of the map. Deep use of the Haunt. Gonna go aggressive and spot out Marteen. He needs to hold the line, and they've cleared out that lurk. Again, a problem that KC had, and still the information on the other side of the map with Rians waiting, watching. And they've almost got them trapped. Now the spike is going back the other way. That's at least something, but there's an opportunity for them to almost clear out those flankers. Bibba needs to get something here and already dropped, sure.
That is definitely going to stand to them if they decide to take a look at where Starzo's just moved to. They want the fight right off rip. They need the numbers to come back into their hands, and the molly to buy time with the wraparound. Starzo! Oh, but Benji's watching it. Spidey senses tingling, and now Glyph all alone, trembling as Heretics rush back into the site.
Again, it was a similar problem that we saw KC have, was a lot of the time you're going to go for that 4-1. Maybe you have the majority north side, 1 south side. You need that lurk to make sure you don't lose the entirety of the map. Looks like they're about to come into contact. We'll see what they're saying within the comms.
One more. And fade forward. Hold up. Two here.
Big stand with me.
Holding under. Alright, favors here.
Go slide together, guys.
I'll smoke side, hold on. Hold
Come
flank,
on, guys.
okay.
You might fight here.
I'll hold flank. Distance, bro, distance.
Under dish.
Under, take city.
Hold the smoke. Plate knife and hold the
Same
smoke.
plan, guys.
2 teammates covering his cross. It's an impossible play for Boo. And mates are back on the board with the full buy.
They set him up, gave him the reveal, gave him a supportive aftershock, and he knocked them all down. Great round from him individually. One that we'll have to see if that's going to light the burners, because obviously
the info's there that these players have pushed north. Nobody is coming down their way. At least not now, because the op is posted. So we won't push any further forward. And mates at least get a plant.
Timing. Benji, you said his awareness has been on point, and now he's going to get the reveal, the swinging. Koshmaris does miss a shot. This is incredibly bold with the shorty, but Benji's done well on the other side. Now left all onto Marteen. He evolved at the beginning of the round, but can this evolve into a 1v4 clutch? Spike at least ticking in his favor. There's so many players on the other side. A nice shot, but they did get it to half, I believe. That means that Boo can start the stick. He needs to swing out, and he is going to take the 8! What is that from Marteen?
They're at a 7-2 scoreline. It was already written, but Marteen's erased the page. That is incredible.
I've always said how much I enjoyed his veto play.
Yeah, you said it from day one, Tom.
Not sure the agent had anything to do with that. But, you
The
know.
evolution, mate. The evolution,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That helped him. Sent him out wide, and he ends up getting caught by a spam as a result. That is very unfortunate. C's catching one up top. Boo creeping his way through. He's too far, though. The judge not working on that range, but he spotted them, and his teammates picking up the pieces, but still a few left behind. Importantly, so is the spike. Woot's holding on to control, and he knows that they need to push him. The problem now trying to reposition. He gets safely behind the box, but did they see him? They're looking the right way. It seems like they've got an idea, but he'll still find both! Woot pulling that round back with a Red Bull clutch. Heretics find 7 eventually.
And that's all it took. These are the tiny details that, even in the moment, I didn't think that Viva would have seen anything. He did over the top of the smoke, and that picks was enough to get him a kill. Now, the Bucky's kind of the bait here, as Koshmara's will be. That stun, and that stun has connected on everybody, and still Koshmara is still alive. How is he still alive? What? 3 kills with the Bucky from there. I think he was stunned 3 times in that corner.
Set himself up in the 1v1 post plant, but first has to deal with this man. Misses the drop down, noise made. Now the rotation's underway. He's on a clock, and Benji Fishy puts him to bed 8-4.
The weirdest ways possible. Nonetheless, I heard you guys have been enjoying our puzzles in the halftime, so I believe we have another one for you now.
Strike down A. 1 enemy remaining.
8-4 it is. The Heretics with the lead, and as we said, the better half for both teams from what we've seen before behind them. For Mates, that means a real uphill battle. But they're just tucked. A 2-man setup on each angle.
Well, yeah, and eventually, with no contact, they're going to start the rotation back the other way. Mini's done well, but a lot of damage.
Oh!
I don't think Boo saw anything there. That was just a reaction shot to turn it back into a 2 versus 2. To be this close by, it depends. No, it seems like Benji, he's just missed the moment of the angle, but he hits the shot anyway. It leaves it all on to Starzo. The late rotator. It's going to be incredibly difficult. He needs a fight. He needs to bait someone into an angle to give an opportunity. And sure, now he knows where Woot is, but will have completely lost where Benji is on the other side.
Oh, they're baiting him. They're baiting him perfectly, and now behind the box and safe. Nice shot by Starzo, but the time's the real issue here. Has to get it to half. Surely, no! He comes off it for the kill, but the time is too far gone. Might be too little too late as the scoreline gets away from them.
Yeah, I think Benji at that point knows 100%. It doesn't matter if I die. I can just swing. Maybe his eyesight's incredible, but I think that was just he killed my teammate. I'll shoot that way and hope. You know that when there's a judge in play, someone's going to come sliding in towards you, so the mate's side needs to be prepared for this one.
Yeah, this is where Heretics are going to put their all into the site. A full push forward, and let's see how they make use of this chaos with the spike down.
Push them now. We push them right now. Can you damn me, please?
Bitterness reveal.
One.
I don't have.
One more deep. Can you go back? Back.
Guys, come back and check CT.
There is money. Let's play now. Pick one.
Dead. Come, guys, come. Go plant, okay?
One for CT. He's running it. Flying for CT.
I break it, okay?
Nice! Let's go! Name on Bill. Good job. Listen.
Congrats,
12-4 down,
12-4, yeah.
but you do have
on your map pick.
You've got 1,000 kills.
Yay!
Woo.
8 rounds in a row needed for Mates. They're going to start it with aggression towards north side, but the whole team's coming here to back up Woot. He finds one, and the rest come easy for this roster. Starzo and Mini left to do it all, and from Heretics, a couple of clutches on Mates notwithstanding, it's been practically flawless.
It's funny because one of the rounds they have is marteen getting an ace. Yeah. But I think there's more problems than maybe just that agent, but yeah, they are just getting blitzed. Yeah, why not? Orbital Strike. That's the second time that Orbital Strike should have got a kill and didn't, but I don't think Heretics are going to care. 13-4 on their opponent's map.
He's going to have to hit his shot to start.
I like the flash position.
Sees nade.
It's a really awkward spot.
Retrieving flash.
But it seems like he wasn't going to be able to use it, so I had to fall back. It was a pop flash for anybody who was going to plant. Mates have got themselves in a fantastic position. The Sentinel already tagged low. Oh, it was almost... They have at least been able to claim some ground. It looks like an immediate re-swing, and the jump through gives marteen Starzo another, and only really one remains. It's going to be...
A nice take by Mates, and a much-needed pistol round for them again. they did not show up on that previous map. The battleground that they chose to be buried on, essentially.
And you've used a lot of your utility on the other side of the map. They've got barely anything left to play with. Trying to get through, they get past the judge. Woot's done well. That time is ticking. Glyph's still standing. Well, he's all that's left. Incredible stuff from Woot. I'll be honest, I thought that was going to be way more difficult.
So the wall goes up and only the TP from Glyph landing as it did. The timing, you can see it from his perspective. Again, phenomenal use of the replay, I might say. But that narrow margin gave them the opening pick, and for them to just waltz back in. Oh, that wall's still in play. Same idea, this time with the Neon Wall and an immediate push around. Pressure on to C again, but this time, Heretics have got numbers here. 2 players, Benji drawing their eye, and it will be Koshmaras to deliver the death blow. 1 found, but he's dealt with after. And the numbers sit and then play together after.
I'd like to know if it was his first 3 kills. This one should be a little bit tougher. That post plant always hard to break. Paranoia utilized. That's already going to be utilized, but it's more just for Glyph to take the fight, leaving it all up to 1. And while Woot first comes easy, but I don't think there's going to be anything more to have. Okay, that makes it interesting. Bippo should have him dead to rights, closer than they would have liked.
Blip in the radar for round 3 is kind of what you expect with the rifles, not with how it played out. I do think that should have been their round to close in the side of mates. But in how we've gotten here, it doesn't really matter. It's more about the destination, not the climb. I would say not a chance, but I have seen stranger things.
Yeah, the Bucky in the last.
Go, go, go.
We'll see. Out he goes. There's 1. Gonna get anything more. 3 bullets left, so it'd have to be very impressive. Mitch is already annoyed by the first one, by the way. And okay! They're making this work anyway. Marteen, 1v4 in the last map. Looking for a 1v3 in this one. Lightning fast reactions, the jump across. And well, it's Benji to get the kill anyway.
Ball rolling, but then I saw the Ares and I realized, oh, they have no chance.
You do like the Bandit though.
Yeah, of course.
So there you go, that was a good advertisement for the Bandit.
It was a solid little round from it.
Nice! Let's go!
Oh, round 8.
Thorns activated.
To see if it carries weight. I mean, for mates, they still come in with somewhat of an investment, some opportunities here. First man of boost spotted. There's a second man in the corner. They've seen him, but they can't deal with him. And not until at least 1 more player falls, even when the weaponry is at a disadvantage. And with Rian's down, that's going to accelerate. Rarely checked. Oh, and Woot's running back with no idea, no iota. The death is creeping up behind him. Benji's got no chance. A save already called.
100% will get a backstab. He'll force Woot back into a rotation the other way. Just used all of the sound cues. These fights are definitely very awkward though.
Yeah, sometimes the Bucky can give you the edge, and well, other times it puts the blade in your throat. Wasn't
a lot of the rounds. Well, the Odin now in play once again. We've seen this one before. It's something Koshmaras did last week. And
to the chagrin of mates in this scenario. Woot holding on that corner. This time they go, well, let's pressure Benji again. It worked pretty well last time, but it's not going to be the point of contact. Boo instead walking up. And although Marteen was looking the right way, he still gets planted by that Glyph. Not a chance. 5-6. Team Heretics.
Put covering fire. Okay, sure, it gets a kill. But then force them into Woot. Because this guy's on at the moment. 13 and 8. Another double where it felt like he was almost fighting alone.
If someone was contacting B, he's dead. But a risk worth taking. Damage done. But no kills that come from it just yet. Woot on his way in. Seeking out anybody. Sound will be stolen away from him for now at least. But Starzo goes down.
You can't lose the round, but that's another thing altogether. Benji, Rians is waiting just behind. He's going to regress the patience of mates. As I said, the mid-round calling from Starzo has been sublime. Like, just putting them in positions to win the round, and at this point, just trading out will be enough. Marteen is more than happy to take the 1v1. Leaves Boo, hoping for a... it's not been his day so far today, needing a lot in this 1v3, and he will get, well, the same treatment as everybody else, killed by Marteen.
7-5. A very strong performance from mates, comparing it to their previous as well. You know what? We've heard enough from these casters. Let's hear from another who's no idea what is waiting for them. Unfortunately, for mates, the door's been taken. They bypassed it completely, even picking up Mini as he tries to cross back.
quick flank coming in. Considering the plant, they're going to almost have to fight this. The fight ending in a trade for now, but eventually Riens comes out on top, leaving it into a glyph clutch, and with the reswing, he's given him an opportunity. And even spotting his opponent, that allows him to potentially get this to half at least. Will he try and stick it all the way? Well, maybe tried to stick it a little too long.
Chance that, from what we've seen so far, they won't let slip. Again, like this was a great idea from Mates. I think they set themselves up perfectly. They were extremely patient. And unless I'm missing something, for Mates defense, it's Glyph. And with that one-way smoke already bypassed, he's in a lot of trouble. With no way out, they have immediately shut him down. The difference in solo anchoring. That's an Omen versus a Vice clearly on display. And now it seems like Heretics have this one.
Hey, chill.
They pull naked, Jibber. Guys, I've got KC wall.
I'm alive.
Can you smoke right side?
Waterfall play.
Guys, I can flash. 5v2.
Wait, CT still.
remaining.
Chill.
Last CT, bro, chill.
Let's
go play. Yes, CT.
Quietest I've ever heard.
Cool. I guess when your teammates are like, woo, Riens, like,
One enemy remaining.
they have quite a high bar.
Chill, yo. Oh my goodness.
There was someone else in there who's like, yeah, like, I can flash.
Start to get worried. I certainly am. For Mates. They need a confidence builder, something to bring them back into this Starzo. He was caught. It looks like a retake already needed. The problem is Koshmaris, he's getting aggressive. He was playing up deep and, well, the showstopper at least trades out.
Go.
Another already, though. Leaves them a man down on the retake. Stars over the trades are immediate. Koshmaris is trading everything out, and then he stops trading. He's just killing at this point. Leaves it all to just marteen. Nobody giving him an angle, nobody giving him a fight. And in the end, who else but Koshmaris?
The funny thing is, they tried to deal with him at the start. The paranoia went through to push him back to this angle.
This whole round is them trying to deal with him.
Yeah, much to the detriment of them, they have a room full of candles and a picture of Aang needed for Mates to bounce back into this one. Spam good from Woot right off rip. Wall goes down, and so do two players on each side. Good trades by Mates. Benji closing in the distance on B, but the Prowler distracted long enough, absorbed some shots and from a disadvantage. Without Koshmaris, and now
Spike down.
it's only Boo to do it. Two players low, a headshot given right away. It's so close, but Glyph gets there in the end.
Still, came down to thin margins. A couple of wonderful shots and big round from Starzo. I said, that's going to be the major thing from...
And a plant should be undeniable. And Heretics, they take a bit of time. They're cautious on the walk-up, and it lets Starzo get into position.
Steel Garden, still taking their time.
Great stuff.
This is where Bippo's going to try and get in early. They're going to try and go ahead of the plant. And Marteen's been able to already take down one. That's a lot of space guaranteed, but Boo hits the shot. No sliding Neon. The trade's going back and forth, but the defense seemingly coming out on top. Almost from Benji Fishy. But final boss Marteen.
But the fights, they come so quickly into their favor.
He slides into the nade after being blinded. That's a little bit cursed. And Benji does incredibly well, but again, it seems to be this man almost every single time.
For Heretics, the pause much needed. There's momentum picked up, they're hiding behind the wall, but Woot and Koshmaris, oh my goodness. That looked like the perfect play from Mates.
Hello.
And in fact, this might be Glyph with two in any other round. This would be a
pause brought them back, and a pause might have just sent them to their doom. They know roughly where he is. He can take his time clearing every angle, but they're all in the same spot. Koshmaris adds another triple to the collection to get themselves closer to playoffs, to make sure KC don't make playoffs, and to start to at least convince a few that Heretics might just be back. Even still though, Nightfall through, A site found to be clear. Showstopper from Marteen popped incredibly early. It allows it to clear a lot of ground and actually catches Koshmaris trying to be a little bit cheeky, it seems.
Mates always win a map in this series as well. That's the other consistent factor. It's always close. On this map it has been. Not ready to let it slip just yet. They're fighting their way back in. Boo and Riens left to deal with. Low HP on two, and Riens picks them up. The C's in, and Glyph is... Oh my goodness, that's a risky play. Glyph caught and having to defuse that spike, isolate. The fight does well to start. No idea where Booze made it off to. And it will be the leader to strike the final blow. A historic defeat for Mates. That's 4-0 up against this organization, but more dominant than we've seen before.